The events of January 6, 2021 shook many families to their core. Tonight, as we get ready to mark 1 year since that dark day, a Texas family remains broken, slowly trying to rebuild their fractured relationships with each other after a son turned in his father. ABC's Mireya Villarreal has their story.
We're coming for you!
I mean, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen on January 6th. To be honest, I thought it was all bluff.
I was scared when he went to January 6th. I was really scared once, it was on the news and stuff. I was really freaking out.
January 6, 2021 was the day that changed America. Mayhem on the steps of the nation's beacon of democracy. Defiance and violence running rampant inside the halls of the Capitol, exposing the fast-growing cancer of distrust and hate. In a suburb just outside Dallas, Texas, peace has been in short supply for Guy Reffitt's family, broken and shaken to its core after he attended former President Trump's rally and protest at the Capitol. The 49-year-old is now in jail awaiting trial among the more than 700 indicted.
Did January 6th tear your family apart?
It has temporarily fractured us.
That fracture, largely caused by the revelation Reffitt's 19-year-old son Jackson went to the FBI with concerns about his father in the days leading up to the insurrection.
He was getting involved in a lot of different people, and a lot of bad people, and a lot of bad communities.
Jackson's mom acknowledges her husband is a member of the Three Percenters. According to the Anti-Defamation League, they are anti-government extremists who were part of the militia movement.
When did you feel then, like, I have to reach out to the FBI? Was there a point that you felt that way?
It was kind of just like, okay, I'm just doing this. Like, I just have to do this. Like, if something is to really happen, then I do not want this on my shoulders as the only one that actually sees what he's doing right now.
Weeks later, Jackson says his worst fears were confirmed.
I went home to check up on everyone, and everyone's sitting around the TV, and my mom looks at me and is like, your dad's there. And hearing my father that was there, that was absolutely disgusting. And it really lost all respect for him in that moment.
According to court documents, when Reffitt returned from Washington, he started making threatening statements to his children.
My father brought up that, like, if anyone turns me in, like, what happens to traitors, traitors get shot. And that spooked me and my sister.
Were you ever afraid that your dad was going to harm you or Jackson?
No, I was never afraid of that. It's bizarre to me to hear that because, he has said so many ridiculous things.
I have 21 years of telling Guy, you can't say stuff like that.
I definitely sent the tip in.
Jackson became an FBI informant, handing over recordings he taped of his father after the riots. Days later, the FBI arrested Reffitt at his home with his family watching.
When I woke up, my first thought was nukes were falling from the sky because that's what the flashbangs sounded like. They pointed guns at us, and there was a battering ram.
I saw his silhouette in the back of a state marshal car when I pulled up to the house, and that was the last time I saw him. After everything came public, I just packed up my basic things, and I was like, I can't be here.
Nearly a year after the raid, Jackson is still living on his own with his girlfriend.
It has been so difficult, the void that's been left by Jackson and Guy.
Professor Cynthia Miller-Idris is an expert on extremism and radicalization. She's seen an increase in polarization among families in recent years.
Whenever you have rising political violence or extremism or hateful acts or other kinds of violent crimes, families are shattered. The family that's left behind needs a lot of support and therapeutic intervention.
The family says this past year has been an emotional roller coaster.
I know that in front of your girls, you definitely kept it together, but there's got to be those moments.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I work 6 minutes away from my house, and I cry for 6 minutes to work, and I pull myself together, and I get back in my car, cry all the way home. And then I get out and I make dinner.
So you give yourself 12 minutes in a day?
Yeah. that is really all that is available.
We would have hours of just wailing and screaming in the house, of all of us just crying, because we just can't believe that this is happening.
With Reffitt gone, money is tight and paying bills isn't easy.
Sarah and I work as much as we can to make sure that Peyton can stay where she is, at least during her senior year. You know, Peyton should be looking for a prom dress. That's what we should be doing.
Jackson says he feels responsible for the rift between him, his mom, and his sisters.
I also bear that guilt to pretty much tear this family apart, and it sucks, but I can't do much about it.
You feel responsible for?
Absolutely, and I know a lot of people tell me that it's not your fault and that my father is an adult, but I mean, it doesn't take away from my guilt at all.
Do you guys blame him?
I blame both of them for, both of them. I don't believe my dad should have gone to the Capitol, but he did. And I don't believe Jackson should have turned my dad in, but he did.
Reffitt was charged with 5 counts, including allegedly carrying a semi-automatic weapon on Capitol grounds. He's one of at least 10 rioters arrested with ties to the 3 percenters. He spoke to ABC News from jail during a phone conversation with his daughters.
From my point of view, this has been disastrous for me and my family, especially for my girls, my son, actually, all of my family. It's not an easy thing to happen. I never expected anything like this to happen for a protest, and that's all I went to do.
Reffitt has pleaded not guilty and could face decades in prison if convicted.
I feel like I'll be exonerated. It's not hard to prove that I didn't do anything. It should be pretty easy.
He hopes to have a relationship with his son Jackson someday.
That's my son. I love my son. I will always love my son.
For now, the family is trying to take those difficult steps to reconnect.
I have anger, but I love him. I'm angry because he took away my last, years growing up with my dad. And, that's really hard.
Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to heal.
Over the last few weeks, Jackson and his family have started to text and talk more. The first time the whole family will be together in one place in more than a year won't be a reunion at home. It'll be here in federal court when Guy's trial begins in February.
Being there and that whole situation is just going to be so nerve-wracking. I hope it'll go smoothly and well for both sides and everyone involved. And in the end, everything, once it's all set in stone, we can go back and really start, hanging out and getting back together and catching up.
What happens if he is found guilty and he has to stay in there longer?
Then we'll know that.
We'll be prepared for that.
I mean, that's an answer. Right now, we have no answers.
A divided family trying to push past the fear, hoping their love for each other gets them through the pain, still fresh from one of America's darkest days.
I have an end game in sight, and that is just for us to be the party of 5 again. And I will not stop until that happens. I don't care what path we're going to have to take, how much healing and therapy we're going to have. I am not going to allow ideology to fracture my family this way.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.